3, 2, 1. And we're live. What's up, Jimmy?
What's going on, Richie?
Oh, not shit, man. It's just Monday, man. We got to get this shit going. Got to get the fucking hype train going.
Fuck Monday. I'm having a shot of Fireball right now.
Fuck yeah, right meow. I'm gonna drink me some beer right meow. You know?
Cheers, man.
Cheers. We still got a golden age of life fucking left. You know, as long as fucking somebody can hold the ship fucking straight. We live in a great fucking country with a lot of patriots in it. We live in a place that grants us many freedoms. It doesn't grant us all the freedoms that we think we have, but it grants us a lot of freedoms compared to other places. A great patriot died this week. The Senator John McCain, war hero, Air Force pilot, POW for 5 years of his life. He was kept by the Viet Cong for 5 years of his life. He came back and he stood up for some things and he became a United States Senator and served just about every year for the rest of his life once he became a senator. He a big Republican leader, someone who really stood up for what he believed in. Now, I don't believe in all his political lines he stood on, but he was definitely a patriot and definitely cared about our country. What are your thoughts on it?
They're mixed thoughts. I don't know the guy personally, and
Right.
Most of the information I have is through the public channels of social media and
Right.
internet research. I've
Uh-huh.
heard some people call him a hero. I've heard some people say that he was a traitor and gave up positions while in captivity. I
Right.
can neither confirm nor deny either of those. So I will, keep my judgments on him in a neutral kind of position.
Right.
He was always very vocal about his policies and what he believed in to be the right decision for America.
Right.
He ran for president twice, lost to both George W. Bush and Barack Hussein Obama.
Yes.
And so I will at least give him the due respect that he was able to maintain a position of leadership for as long as he did.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Whether or not I agree with everything that he stood behind. But, I think that's pretty much the case with just about every person that, is technically a leader.
That's
see the
definitely
good,
true.
the bad.
Yeah. You got to take the good with the
But
bad.
it's very rare that you 110% get behind somebody with everything they say and do.
Well, just over the years, our corporate interests have just grown, for both sides of the political aisle and political parties,
Mm-hmm.
You've got it to where the Democratic Party is completely anti-gun, you know what I mean? So the NRA only picks Republican candidates, okay? And then on the other side of that, you've got the Democrats, which are the pro-union party. So even if somebody on the Republican Party supports the union, they won't vote for them. And so it's completely divided upon party lines on a lot of different issues that you wouldn't even consider kind of lumping together, if that makes sense. Certain things you have to go, you have to go this way with this, and you have to go that way with that, and it doesn't make any kind of goddamn sense. Somebody who's a Democrat should be able to be pro-gun, and somebody who's a Republican should be able to be pro-union. But it's just completely flip-flopped in the way that the money is spent and who donates to what parties. It's completely divided that way. And this is just a small thing, you know what I mean? When it comes to the environment, and it comes to when it comes to animal rights, one side is pro-corporation. They're pro taking down OSHA and taking down all of those ethical laws and kind of rewinding things. They're okay with that. They're okay with that because on the other side, you have all the big environmental groups that donate to the Democratic Party. And so the interest is blinded right there, too. going as so far as like there's a lot of people who are climate change deniers. Now, I'm not going to say I'm a scientist. I'm not. I'm not a scientist at all. And we've already proven.
But do you know what acid rain feels like on your skin?
Right, that's a problem to me. That's a definite problem. I mean, they've already proved that ice ages happen every so many years, and basically, the real root of climate change says that we're speeding up the process.
Yes.
We're making it a lot faster. Like it's every 12,000 years. We're ticking down on it. We're hunkering down on that number, and we're making it less and less time. Like you put a song in cut time. You know, you sped it up by a whole bunch. You know.
Right.
But yeah, it becomes all these different political viewpoints. They become very hard to separate once they're put together and then financial interests are involved. Very hard to separate. Yeah, very hard to separate them again. And find out what people actually believe in when it doesn't come down to just winning elections.
I don't know if I like the idea of one person being the figurehead.
I don't like it either. I don't. It's very corruptible.
Yes.
Very corruptible because you choose the people that are right around you. Like you got this president. He basically has part of his family live with him, and they're running part of the government. You know, it starts to blur the lines of okay, well, what kind of government do we have? You know, we have a presidency and we have checks and balances for a democracy to where, you know, we have two different houses that oversee the president, and then we have a judicial branch that supersedes them and watches over them. Or do we have an oligarchy? Or do we have an oligarchy where all the money has gotten to the point where corporate interests are the only things that actually matter?
I would say in the last 50 or 60 years, that's probably the case with 95% of the countries on this planet.
Yeah.
As you can't ever take into account the average Joe's sense of reality because the people who are in power never lived that reality.
Ever.
They didn't have the day-to-day struggles, so they really don't give a fuck about the average person, whether or not they're saying something on a commercial or, you know, doing the meet and greet and the photo op to make it look like they give a fuck. When I see people do that, all I see is fakeness, and that's across party lines. And you know, I'm a registered independent. I don't trust really any of them, honestly. And maybe I'm a little bit paranoid, but I think you have to take everything with a healthy bit of skepticism and, you know, a little bit of critical thinking for yourself. And that's a lot of what's the problem here in the last few years, especially with how divided the country is, you know, has been in the last 5-6 years or whatever towards the end of Obama's presidency. And, you know, and then, you know, we get Trump in office, and so it flip-flops the coin. And so when Obama was in office, all the Republicans and were just heated all the time because he was doing this and this and this, and then Trump gets in office and the less liberal are just attacking him, you know, for everything. Yeah. And I'm not saying he's innocent, because there isn't a person out there that doesn't have blood on their hands and things that they'd rather not come out in public. But one thing nobody ever addresses is that when you put yourself in that position and you put yourself out there, and that kind of exposure to your entire life history, every piece of dirt that you swept under the rug is going to come back out.
It is. Yeah.
You're not going to get away with shit.
I mean, look at Hillary. You know what I mean?
Right.
They tried to fucking get rid of Bernie Sanders, and they did. They got rid of him, but at a
Yeah,
cost.
they
They got rid of him, but they got rid of him, but at a
yeah
cost.
she bought off Bernie Sanders, got him out of the way, and then there's a whole bunch of suicides that are traced back to the Clinton family. Which I, for one, I would rather have Trump than Hillary, because whether or not I respect Trump completely, I trust him a lot more than I do Hillary, because I think she was a lying, manipulative lawyer and had way too much power for way too long.
Well, I mean, look at the company she keeps. You know what I mean? You got people like Marina Abramovich. You know, the woman looks like she's in her 30s and she's in her 70s. And they do they do this whole spirit food ritual, right? And I've always seen.
And what's that?
I've always seen, and I want to explain this too. I mean, I'm going to make a couple speculations, but I've only seen like the more public versions, like gala events and stuff like that. But basically, what they do is they make a figgies, like food items. They're supposed to be representation of people that you are eating. Okay? And it's to take in the soul of those who have harmed you or that you would strike against. Okay? I mean, the woman is nuts. Like, her grandfather was a bishop in the old world, in the old Soviet belt. Okay? And, like, he was a known person to do rituals of pedophilia. Upwards of, like, over 100 fucking kids.
Wow.
Just mass pedophilia. You know what I mean? And so a lot of her artwork, and she's an artist, right? And a lot of her artwork, like, it has undertones of like child abuse and like child torture. It's very fucking bizarre. And so I bring this up because in the Clinton emails that got released because of the whole leak during, the WikiLeaks during the election. There's a memo between Bethesda and Clinton where she's asking Abramovich if we're going to do the thing tonight. If we're going to do the private spirit food event. It was just going to like be at a house. And so I've always wondered, like, okay, like we've
what was
seen
going on.
Yeah. We've all seen the bigger ones at like the gala events and where it kind of looks fluffy and kind of, you know, like they're doing a bunch of big cakes that look like people, but what is it like?
Yeah, it's a publicity thing.
But what the hell is this like in private?
Right.
What is that? What are they really doing in private with this?
Because I think about, you know, the shit I do when I'm alone and nobody's watching and there's no trace.
Oh.
And it's like people in this kind of position that are part of the human trafficking organizations that are the consensus of evil in this reality, and they're all in positions of power over all of us. And whether or not you think that's a conspiracy or not, I just challenge you to do some research and come up with an objective opinion, and don't let fear and, you know, your little reality get shattered because you're scared. That's the only thing I could say to our friends that are listening. It's a bizarre thing, because I wouldn't put it past them. There are far too many people that have committed suicide that can get traced back to very critical points in, you know, the Clinton family and their political
organization
regime.
Yeah. One of the stranger things, because I did some research on Abramovich, and one of the stranger things is her brother is the head of the Tesla Foundation. All right, a foundation that is basically designed to carry on Nikola Tesla's work. All right.
Wow.
Now here comes the crazier thing. She's an artist. Okay. She funds it.
How does she fund it?
That's my question. Like, how does she fund it? Because we're talking about something, it's billions of dollars.
Can I make a inference and a speculative guess at this point?
Go ahead.
I think that she's getting paid off by, somebody in the Clinton circle as far as just getting some sort of kickback or speaker fee or an exuberant amount of money to the average person.
I mean, she goes a lot deeper than people even realize. Like, you got to think, her portrait, a fucking hand-painted portrait of her, is in Jay-Z and Beyonce's house. She's
Wow.
huge. Like, when it comes to her control over, when she comes to the control of big entertainment and shit like that, I mean, just far bigger than the common person would give any credit for.
Right.
Anyone
that's the way they want it.
You wouldn't think twice about it if you didn't know.
Right. You wouldn't even be aware of it. That's the whole point.
Right.
That's what they want. They want to continue on with whatever it is that they're doing and just not let anybody realize what's actually happening.
It's true. You know, it's a fucked up world, man. It's a fucked up place.
It is a fucked up world, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever they fucking... Because they didn't want... The whole Bernie thing is... They had to get rid of Bernie, because look what happened with Obama. They never thought Obama could win against Hillary. Oh, right. Were they wrong? Were they fucking wrong?
Yes, they were.
You know, when Obama fucking beat Hillary, it was like, oh, shit. No, they didn't.
Well, I just think he had a lot of the minorities on his side, and a lot of people that honestly didn't like Mitt Romney because.
Oh yeah.
However, they came to the conclusion that guy was the front runner for the Republican Party. Can go fuck off, okay? Because he was a complete tool and douchebag. Look at him. I mean,
well, then
he was the quintessential upper 0.1% Republican class. You know, he never did anything in the struggle. He didn't represent the people. He represented all the corporations he worked for. His ideas were shit. And when you compare him to Hillary, it's like those two, I'll say this right now, Obama is light years ahead of either of those two as far as just what he was actually trying to do.
But remember, he wound up facing against John McCain that year for the general election. And like the worst thing of all time, back to John McCain, rest in peace. Like the powers that be somehow were like, well, you should run with Sarah Palin. And it was like he resisted it at first. He was like, "What are you guys doing? Like, why would you team me up with a beauty queen?" Because they all thought that Obama, because this is before Obama picked Biden. They're all thinking he could pick Hillary and just stomp. We need a female, somebody.
You need a female versus female in the vice president thing. It was They were trying to come up with a game plan.
Yeah.
And the people that made those decisions were incorrect in their
morons. Man.
But hey, they don't ever ask the person who's viewing it from the objective third party position. It's always the people, the inner circles.
From objective third party perspective, when you see Sarah Palin, she was a first-term governor. The only thing that she had under her belt besides that was that she was a beauty queen, which totally nullifies any kind of because you think beauty queen, your first thought is chick in a fucking swimsuit. It's my first thought. I hate to say it. It sounds.
You bring up an interesting point, because now that you're saying this, I'm kind of thinking about somebody, and not to shift this too far out into left field, but what about that movie Who's Nailing Palin, huh? I mean, Lisa Ann. I'm just saying, she looks like her a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that was a great marketing ploy at that time.
Is that a porn?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, hell yeah, it is.
Nailing Palin.
Pornhub that shit. Who's Nailing Palin? Look it up. It's good shit.
That's funny. Who's nailing Palin? It sounds like a southern redneck from Alabama put that together. Who's nailing Palin?
Yeah, but look, it's really it's good. They put some money into the production. I'll say that for porn.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right,
it's not fucking. It's not like a Warner Brothers picture, but
is it like 70s budgets? In the 70s and early 80s, like they had some budgets. You know, they had a little bit of a budget. Is there any? There's not CGI fucking splooge shots, is there? Like
no,
slow motion.
Gadoosh.
Gadoosh.
Just look up for yourself. I mean, that's all I can say. It's she just literally at the time that all this was going down, which was what Obama took office originally in 08? Okay, so this was like 07, 08, like right during that whole time frame is when it came out. And if you took a picture side by side, I mean, what a great marketing ploy, right? The woman that's trying to be the vice president is just getting it in.
She's getting dun 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 bang bang dun 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 in the back room.
Right.
In the oral office. Please tell me they call it the oral
I'd rather
office.
do Lisa Ann than have Monica Lewinsky blow me under the fucking
Oh, man. I think he was desperate, bro.
desk.
I think it literally...
Dude, I would be too. Hillary, but you're the president. I mean, if you're going to cheat, I mean, I would think... You know, it's not like he didn't have the clout to pull better ass. I'm just saying. No disrespect to Monica Lewinsky.
Dude, do you realize...
She was just a young girl that sucked a dick. That's all she did.
Bro, he had a list of chicks. Like, if you were watching any of those documentaries on fucking, like, literally, like Hillary doing the cleanup over all the shit he fucking did in Arkansas. Like, literally, he had his the state patrol, you know what I mean, it came with him everywhere, right?
Right.
He would point out girls in the crowd, and he'd have the fucking highway patrol go give this girl his number. Or go invite the girl back to the hotel room. Or, dude, he was doing
Imagine if he tried to do that now in the Me Too movement, bro.
Dude, he could go down for the whole Me Too movement, bro. He could literally go down for the Me Too movement. Dude.
I mean, ladies out there, like, what are your thoughts? I'm sure somebody out there has some information. Now, you may not want to get suicided by his wife, because that's definitely a risk by coming forward and being public.
Dude, okay, bro, like, she hired a private investigator, right?
Right.
To track down the chicks that could be loose ends, okay? In Arkansas, whenever he was about to get elected. Dude, they didn't all just get wiped out. So did the private investigator.
Right.
Yeah. He got killed too.
Of course he did.
You know?
See, the problem with all these people that got close to the Clintons is they don't understand how a criminal thinks. And they had blind faith that they weren't at risk by, you know, doing the witches' biddings. And see, they studied any of the great mafia families throughout the ages, or any of that. The loose ends always go away. And what's the best way to not get somebody to testify in court?
Kill them.
Have them commit suicide. That's right.
Yeah. Have a mysterious accident happen.
An accident. How do you have an accident with 2 bullets on the back of your head?
Dude, there was one of the cabinet members that his whole plane went down. There's basically evidence that most of those people were shot. No, most of those people were shot before the plane went down. Yeah.
And that's how it's set up. You put a hitman up there, wipe them all out, but you don't tell the hitman that the plane's going to crash.
Or you just let him jump out the fucking
True.
He jumps out, parachutes. Nobody's the wiser. Especially if he was somebody who wasn't supposed to be on the plane.
Right. He wasn't on the flight manifest.
Right. And this is before 9/11. That was possible back then. Easily. It still is with private flight. It still is with private flight.
But there's still a manifest.
Yep. Well, there's always been a manifest. You know what I mean? There's always been a manifest.
Whether it's true or not.
Yeah. But it's just harder to get in and out of the airport, now.
Yeah, there's too many cameras. You can't get away with shit. I don't know why people try to commit crimes anymore. It's like, you're going to get fucking caught. They've, really updated science and technology.
Well, it's like, either you're going to get caught or you got to have, an entire hacker team. You got to have hacker team 6.
Are you going to have a hacker team because you're, broke and decided to steal, a candy bar or a beer and a pack of blunts from fucking 7-Eleven? Probably not.
No. Yeah, dude, when we were kids, Dude, this is with everybody who's a kid. Dude, I know tons and tons and tons of people. At, between 7 and, 11, you develop a little phase where, dude, you steal stuff from fucking stores.
Right.
Then you eventually get caught and everything, you know what I mean? Your parents fucking bust your ass or fucking, you go to the fucking store thing and, the whole fucking deal. They take you to a little security room with the fucking cameras and shit. By the time I was 11, 12 years old, we were stealing cartons of cigarettes and shit. You know what I mean? We were stealing a fuck ton of cigarettes.
And that was one move the mafia did right back in the day. Steal cigarette trucks.
Yeah. Dude, we go to the Schnooks, we fucking steal a bunch of cigarettes. I'd sell them to all the fucking little bit older age kids in the neighborhood. They were between the ages of 14, 15, 16.
Right.
Sell them, start wheeling and dealing them all fucking cigarettes. Making some cash. And
That's a hustle.
Dude, on the other side of things, at the Deerbergs, we'd fucking, there was a way you could get into the trucks, the loading dock trucks, from underneath the truck. Okay? It was just this little pop-up thing, right? You get into the trucks. And we get in the trucks and we'd steal entire cases of ding-dongs and ho-hos. Yeah, and just kind of sneak out with them, you know what I mean? Abscond. And it had built and it built and it built. And so, one day you get caught. You're 13 years old, you're getting caught. And
right.
Shit's not cool anymore. You know what I mean? You're in trouble. And you're only 13 years old and you're fuck.
Right. The world's about to come down. You're going to get grounded.
Yeah. You're going to get big grounded. You're going to get big G'd. And you're going to do some time. You're going to do some bedroom time.
Yeah. Spent a lot of my youth grounded.
Yeah. That's.
What about you folks at home? Were you grounded in a lot of weird situations? Shit that you weren't even guilty for, but because of the situation and causality and your parents working themselves to death to keep a roof over your head. Did you ever fall on some bullshit like that as a kid? If so, tell us about it. Write in and, let us know what happened and let's talk about it for sure.
I mean, that was definitely the thing though, Jimmy, is my parents were never around. You know what I mean? They just weren't there. They had to work.
Right.
So
you had to raise yourself.
Yeah, dude, from 9, 10 years old, it was just you. It wasn't you, and it was, even worse, it was me and me watching my sister. So not only was there nobody there, but I'm watching my sister too.
Right. And, just quick question: how old were you when the first time that you were home alone?
I don't know, it's pretty young. It's pretty damn young. It was before I was I don't know, it might have been. I want to say I was like 9 or 10 because like my sister, I had to watch my sister and she's 2 years younger than me. You know, I want to
I was
say.
9 years old. That was
Yeah.
how old I was when the first
Yeah.
time I stayed home alone. I
Yeah.
remember it being kind of scary. Don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, dude, I
Like the
don't know.
day was really fucking long.
I don't know. It's fucking. And of course, the first time it happens, you stay inside the house. You're like, oh,
Right. Yeah.
you know.
The doors are locked. The fucking blinds are down. You got the television on kind of quietly because you're like, you had just seen Home Alone, so you're like, I'm fucking Kevin, and Joe Pesci's about to kick my door in and fucking steal our Christmas, right?
Right. Fucking
I
Joe Pesci.
vividly remember it. I was
Oh man.
living in Chicago on a naval base in Great Lakes, and we were packing up to get ready to move down to St. Louis, Missouri. What a fine town that is, and a
What?
great selection as a home base. And I just want everyone to know that I was welcomed with open arms. And by open arms, I mean I had my arm broken about 3 weeks after I moved down here at 9.5 years old
What
as
happened?
a welcoming present. Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I was playing tackle football with some kids in the neighborhood, and you know how it is when you're a bunch of kids, you just kind of dogpile or whatever, and my arm went kind of back behind my
Oh
back at a
no.
weird angle, and I fractured I think it was my radius on my
Oh
left
yeah.
arm.
So
I
basically, you got
forgot which bone
Kimura.
it was. It was one of the forearm bones. But anyway, it
Oh
fucked me
okay.
up for a couple of months, man, because I had to wear the cast, you know, and then you know because it's in the cast, it stinks, and then you lose all the
Yeah.
mobility because
Yeah.
you haven't been able to like move your
Use
arm
it.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of sidelined me for a little while. The first, I don't know, I had the cast maybe 2 months, but it took like another 2 months after it was off before my arm was kind of normal again. And the only bone I ever broke as a kid, but it was you know, just neighborhood football with the kids in the neighbor's yard and dog pile with like 4 people, and we were all running at each other full force. So what are you gonna do?
The there's a kid that like lived across the street from me. Whenever I moved
Right?
here, I was 6 years old. Okay, and so I'm 6 years old. We're moving, you know, the whole deal. And like, I'm a very, very positive young kid. Probably
Right.
overly positive, like a retard. Um, Now I'm younger than all of my peers in the neighborhood by about a year to 3 years. Um, and so like, I meet this kid. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna name names. Apparently, guy turned out great. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. Like later on, he moved away from the neighborhood, and like his parents were like everything changed for him after that. But like,
How it works.
yeah, he was like 8 years old. You know, 7, 8 years old. He was a little bit older than me.
Hmm.
And dude, this kid was fucking demonic. I mean, fucking demonic.
Like Damien.
Like Damien. All right, so like,
Wow. Tell me
I
about this kid. I'm curious.
I don't know anything about like I'm like 6 years old, dude. So like, I don't know what fighting really is yet. I've seen like
Right.
movies. You know what I mean? And so like the second time I ever meet him, he beats my ass. No reason. Thought it was funny. You know? All right, so I'm like, dude, I don't know anybody else in the neighborhood yet. You know, I don't know my lessons yet.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm 6. I'm like, oh, that was a fluke. The dude sprays WD 40 in my eyes.
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's 7?
Uh huh.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Later on, 2 weeks later, right? He proceeds like my mom has to save this other kid's life, right? Because he fucking starts strangling this other fucking kid. And like literally, the kid was turning like, he's turning that song fucking By a Perfect Circle. He's turning blue. You know what I mean?
2003.
Yeah, man, he's turning blue. And
13 Steps.
He's turning fucking blue. And like my mom's like, fucking let him go. You know what I mean? Fucking let him go. I mean, this dude is just a fucking terrorizing menace. Just a fucking crazy person.
Is he dead or in prison or what's
No, that's just
story?
it. His life turned out perfect. That's just it, dude. His life turned out perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. Life turned out perfect. He moved away at like 8 or 9. You know what I mean? Moved over by, Spencer Hills. Everything was fine.
I know that neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah, everything went up fine for him, man.
Well,
he's like married with kids and everything normal.
Well, if that dude's listening, hey, good on you for turning it around. You're a shithead as a little kid, but I can't say much because I'm guilty of tons and tons of shit.
Me too.
That I shouldn't have done, but isn't that life? You just learn and move on and try to become a better person. And at least these days, for me, I just try not to. I really make it a point not to try to hurt anybody, either physically, emotionally, or mentally, or any of that stuff. I would much rather be centered and being able to sleep at night with somewhat of a clear conscience, rather than a predatory person that goes around and just feeds off of other people. You have these kind of situations where you're talking about earlier with the pedophile cult and the Clintons and what was her name again?
Oh, it's Maria Abramovich.
Okay, Abramovich.
Yeah, Abramovich.
Maria.
Yeah.
Look, I actually saw something today on Yahoo and a couple different articles where 2 different child sex trafficking rings were busted.
Yeah.
Like over the weekend or within the last couple days. So maybe they're finally going after these kind of people. I don't know. I feel like look, we still have problems here in this country, right?
Yeah.
But if I was to go say now, like, I feel like the average person today is more positive and has a better outlook for the future than maybe they did 5 years ago. Could you agree with that?
Well, think about this. We live in actually a time that has the least amount of war maybe ever in the history of mankind. Think about that. Like when it comes to like full-scale war.
Right.
And we don't want to think about it like that because we see it on television every day. Like we get more exposure to less war. That's the real crazy part about it. We have more food than we've had, probably ever. Of course, we have more people too. We have more opportunity, for better or worse, depending on who you are and where you're born. You have a better shot at life.
I will agree with that, man.
You have a better shot at life if you're born right now. I don't mean like you have a better shot at becoming a billionaire and all this other stupid shit. You probably have a better shot at life, period.
We're living a lot longer.
Yeah. You probably have a better shot at life, period. Of actually living. And not just getting killed off within. And a lot of young people don't understand that. They think they're entitled to all this fucking craziness. Like, being called some weird surname like Zer or Z's or Zaz. And, I saw a fucking thing of a guy fucking protesting that he has a man period and all this craziness. Like, you motherfuckers.
A man period?
You
What's
don't,
this man period
I'll
shit?
tell you in a minute, but you motherfuckers, you don't understand. Y'all are coming up with all this shit Because you don't have enough adversity in your motherfucking life. You understand that? You don't have enough adversity in your motherfucking life right now. So you're coming up with shit to fucking spend your time on. God damn it. Stop it. Fucking do something productive. No, but there's this guy who's he's this is how crazy, like, liberals have gone so far left and you know, conservative has gone so far fucking right that it makes the rest of us near the middle look at them like they're fucking retards. Like they're fucking retards.
Yeah, the ends of the spectrum are much more polarized than they used to be, and I feel like the numbers may or may not support that, but I think another cause of that is the people that are kind of in the middle ground are a hell of a lot quieter about what they think.
It's because you got all these fucking nutcases on the far ends. Nutcases. You know? Just absolute. I can't even describe some of the stuff that the far fucking left believe in now. Blame Caitlyn Jenner. I blame Caitlyn Jenner. Bruce Jenner. You know what I mean? Everyone forgets he fucking killed somebody like 3 weeks before he came out like that.
Right.
Everyone even... What the hell is this? Like, you fucking get a sex change and you can kill people? Is that how that works?
It might have been a gigantic diversion by his lawyers to keep him out of prison, dude. That's the scarier part.
It is a scary... Yeah.
Because when you have money, you can get away with shit like that.
You can make diversionary
Because if not, you're catching second degree or at the very least manslaughter, and you're doing 10 to 12 years.
You know,
Because he hit somebody with a car, right? Isn't that what happened?
Yeah. Yeah. Motherfucker wasn't paying attention to where he was going and fucking killed somebody. You know? Killed
and
somebody.
Fuck that piece of shit.
You know?
Seriously, fuck him. Fuck her, whatever. Fuck him. That's the kind of shit that is bullshit that divides this country and makes a lot of people have some seething fucking anger about the way the system's laid out.
Dude, they literally undermined... My thought on the whole thing is, like, they undermined women. All of a sudden, he comes out, does the switch. He didn't get rid of his dong. Okay.
Does he still have his dong? Like,
I think he still has his dong.
So he's more of a tranny than a fucking transgender.
Yeah, dude. I think he still has his... I'm not positive.
Can somebody confirm that in the comments? One of you guys that have followed the Jenners and the Kardashians, like, can we get an update, an actual current status on that situation?
Alert. Can we get a dong alert?
Yeah, can we get a dong alert in aisle 3? This barcode won't scan.
Dude, for real, can we get a dong alert? But you know, as far as I know, like, he still has his dong. Like, so he gets Woman of the Year.
How the fuck does that happen?
That happened, dude.
He wasn't even a woman for a year.
Think about how much damage that does to women. I
know. Ladies, I'm sorry. There's a bunch of pieces of shit with money out there that are... You guys have stepped the game up, because that she, whatever, hasn't been on the fucking much of the media for the last few years.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying... You know, transgenders, I'm not judging. I could give two fucks less what you do with yourself. I really don't care, and I think that's probably
That's the normal consensus, dude.
Yeah, that's kind of the normal consensus around people out there. Like, I don't give a shit.
Dude,
but...
We went through a whole thing where, like, who uses what bathroom? Like, honest to God truth, as long as you're not trying to grab my dick or anything, like, I don't care what bathroom you use. As long as you're not trying to use it that as a leverage point to harm somebody else. Dude, one bathroom's all we fucking need with enough stalls and everything to fucking accommodate people. If people were decent, all we would need is one bathroom.
Right.
I'm not fucking...
But here's the problem. It would be expensive. Really expensive.
Yeah?
To run all that plumbing, the next other bathroom. I mean, at what point... Okay, if you decide to open up that can of worms, how many different types do you actually have to make everybody feel, quote-unquote, comfortable, safe, and secure? Because since all that movement, I have not seen one bathroom in public for anything other than male and female.
Well, I've never really seen it besides co-ed bathrooms and, like, college dorms.
Right.
You know? In other countries, they're co-ed bathrooms. Which isn't that big of a deal for them. But yeah, I mean, we got all these... Yeah, everyone wants to claim it. And then other people just want to do it for attention. Everyone wants to claim a fucking gender... You know, when it comes to the far left, you know, everyone wants to claim a gender role this and a gender role that. And then you get these people that are crazy that, like, literally think that, like, they have multiple personalities and they share different genders.
Right.
And so they can situationally use whatever bathroom they want, like nuts people. No, you belong in an institution, motherfucker. You belong in an institution.
You got psychological problems. Look, do yourself a favor, right? Unbutton your pants, zip it down, pull your shorts down, look, see which part you have swinging between your legs, right? And if it's a dick and balls, you're going to the men's. Okay?
Yeah.
If you have a vagina, go to the fucking women's. But don't claim that you need
the only
some
time
sort
when
of...
it becomes an issue is if, because there are hermaphrodites that do have both.
Hey,
so
that's a whole different.
That's a whole different
side
of
of
this. That's a whole
this.
different ballgame. But
yeah,
those people are
we're talking about. We're leaning towards the mental illness.
Yeah.
And psychological development disorders that have
kind of
come down with this, because all these people that came out with this were raised in a time where the information was so accessible by cell phone and computer that as they were coming up through puberty, they were exposed to this right in their prime of their development as into adult human beings. And so if you couple that with behavioral problems, emotional problems, whatever, it is a recipe for a very, very confused adult.
Dude, I'm going to tell you what. This is it. This is what it all is. I know I've never brought it up on the podcast, but I definitely need to do it right now. Okay? This all comes back, I swear. A lot of this comes back to the fact that we've had plastics in our systems for the last 40 to 50 years. And before now, there were no plastic, you know what I mean? We didn't drink out of plastic. Everyone drank out of glass bottles.
Tell the folks at home about this, because I feel like they could stand to learn something here and give it some critical thinking for themselves and do some research, because I know what research. You told me about this off air before, and I know that the information is probably very accessible, but go ahead and let the folks at home know your thoughts on plastic and how they've affected human development over the last 30 years or so.
So, all right. So BPH, okay, this one's already determined. Okay, we have just now, okay, started taking BPH plastic out of the things that are accessible to children, under like infants. Okay, their bottles, anything they drank from. Everything has to be BPH free because the FDA now. Okay, but what people that are not in the know, but this is the reason why, okay? And it's in fucking everything plastic you drink out of. Everything. They only pretend to basically care about the under 2-year-olds. So, as a male human being, And understand, this throws you off as a female too. Okay? BPH plastic, what it does is it perfectly mimics estrogen in the human body. Meaning, especially if you're a male, this is helping develop things like gynecomastia, meaning man tits. Okay? This is helping you not get enough, testosterone in your system because it's getting canceled out. And you're having this extra source of estrogen all around you. Just about every day. All kinds of things. Think about that. All right, there's BPH in the plastic that you're drinking out of whenever you buy a Diet Coke. There's BPH in you go buy a jug of orange juice. There's BPH in all these plastic bottles that and it leaches. It's proven that this leaches into your system. And so you're intaking more estrogen every day. And you don't even realize it. That's why they've shown that people that were born and they were part of the greatest generation, that they had more testosterone than baby boomers. And that my generation has far less than the two previous generations.
Right. Because it's a cumulative effect through the birth rate cycle.
And more plastic, you know what I mean? Because to begin with, there's a few plastic bottles here and there.
Right.
They still had the Coke machines that had the glass bottles, But whenever you went
to
the store...
Hey, thank God they don't sell beer in plastic bottles, right?
Right.
So, shout out to the alcohol company for never doing that. I don't mind a can. I love a bottle, and I'll take a draft.
It's true.
Tonight's episode is going to be brought to you in part by Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Established in 1903. It's a great value. You get a 32-ounce, I believe, tall can for around $1.40 at your local liquor store. Pick one up tonight.
Booyah. Pick one up tonight, he says. But like I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like, this has been accumulative. And then plastic has become such a big industry.
It really is.
It's become a huge industry. And so for us to be like, okay, we're going to rewind on plastic.
Isn't polyester technically plastic?
I don't know. Don't get me mixed up.
Or rayon or one of those.
No, radon is brick. Radon comes from brick. As far as I know. There used to be a study.
It's all good. But yeah, man, the plastics are a problem.
They're making
us weaker. It is literally everything. I mean, I was looking in before we got on the air. We'd talked briefly, and I was like, "Hey, man, I need to drink some water before I start pounding this booze and talking to you." And sure as shit, I drank out of a plastic cup. And now that you have reminded me of this conversation, I'm going to make a conscious effort to really only drink out of glasses from this point forward.
I try to do it too. It's so hard.
It is because plastic, they've made it so fucking convenient that it's hard to avoid. It's like when you go to a gas station to get a soda or whatever, it's either styrofoam or plastic. And I'm sure styrofoam probably has just as many other, physiological problems, and biological effects and problems.
Yeah.
Because the reality is you're drinking a man-made chemical that is housing a liquid that you consume into your fucking body.
Well, think about this, dude. When you really break it down, you're drinking out of oil. Break that down in your head. You're drinking out of something that's made out of oil. Yeah, it's made out of oil. As crazy as that sounds. No matter how they clear it up. I mean, they got a lot of synthetics now too. Um, you know, everything has a synthetic. Hello?
I'm here.
Okay.
I am here. We have
Cool,
a technical. No?
You having technical difficulties?
No, I'm good. Are
Okay,
you?
cool. No, yeah, I couldn't hear you. I mean, you weren't
Sorry
coming
about
through,
that,
man.
buddy.
Weren't coming through at all.
Yeah, in the early incarnations of our show, we're still learning the process, but as time goes on, we're going to develop this thing into a full-fledged, you know, multiple episodes a week force, because generally we feel like there's a lot to talk about in the world, and there's not enough people that are voicing an open platform to speak their minds. And that's one reason why we decided to do this, ladies and gentlemen, is that we want the freedom of expression that you really can't do in any other way other than through audio and video, because this didn't exist 15 years ago.
No. Not at all. Not at all.
And that's kind of what's cool about it. It's an interesting thing to embark on, and I just want to thank you for taking the time out to listen or whatever. You know, if you have a moment and you like what you hear and you want more content, please hit the like and subscribe button. And if you leave a comment below, we'll probably respond. And with that said, how about we do a little evening cheers, as we didn't open the show tonight with that.
Yeah.
Well, so let's do that. Salute. Everybody raise your glasses. Pour one out for the homies. Difficult Monday. We got the worst week or day of the week out of the way. Holiday weekend coming up. Labor Day weekend. You're going to have a long weekend. You got any plans coming up for the 3-day weekend, Richie?
Hell no. Man, my plans are to do some day drinking. You know, let's get some day drinking down. Probably be editing videos. Probably be editing some audio and fucking just smashing shit. You know what I mean? That's the whole goal here. Good. Smash some shit.
And the moment to thank you for being able to do that with your skill set. I don't know if any of you folks are aware of this, but this dude right here, my co-host, is a bad motherfucker when it comes to doing audio and video editing.
I try.
And I just want to thank you, man. This wouldn't be possible without you. And, you know, for the 11 people that maybe have heard this by now, thanks again for checking it out.
Thank
it's all
you.
good.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, so with that said, raise your glasses, everybody, and cheers to getting through Monday. 4 more days till the long weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Cheers, Nostrovia.
Cheers.
Jimmy, did you make it through?
Oh, yeah.
He made it through.
Ready for round 2. It's early, babe. Are we paused?
No.
Okay.
Well, we can be.
We can edit.
All right, y'all. Let's take this drink. Yeah.
Yeah, have a drink, everybody. Woo!
Delicious.
Delicious.
Delicious. Delicious. Not like cocks in the mouth, but delicious.
Hell yeah.
So we just got through talking about BPH and plastics and how they affect the physiology of human beings. It throws us all off, and I'm not saying I'm totally anti-plastic or anything. But some of this stuff, it leaches in your system if you're drinking out of it. It really
It
affects
really
you.
is, man.
It negatively affects you, and people don't realize it.
Well, they don't tell you that shit, man. They don't want you to know that, because then everybody on Earth would be boycotting plastics. But then, where does that bring us back to? Aluminum cans, clay pots, and fucking glass. I mean, I'm okay with that. I think the eventual outcome might be better, but they're not going to redesign the system.
Oh no,
they don't care about you and me, man. They don't give a fuck about our health problems.
well,
until
somebody tries to take advantage of it, until somebody
Right.
and the market, the free open market, tries to take advantage of it, and it's like, I have this thing. It's cheaper than plastic. It can be produced cheaper. It's safer. You know, when the market corrects itself, that's the only time it's gonna. And then somebody's gonna come out and say the same thing.
Right.
You know, somebody's gonna come out and say the same thing. Okay, well, these plastics are, leaching into our systems, and they're negatively affecting us, and the estrogen put off by these certain plastics, yeah, they're damaging our physiology. Super sad.
Man.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I was just kind of thinking about how that, and how many different ways that affects everybody all the time. And, I just don't trust people. I'll be honest with everybody.
Yeah.
I really don't think they care about anything other than the almighty dollar, dude. They just want to sell you something.
Yeah.
They just want your money, which really they're just purchasing a portion of your life for some product that you really probably don't even need. Like, how bad is soda for people?
It's, well, on both ends of the spectrum, it's terrible for you. Saccharin and some of the other, every sweetener there is has some kind of drawback.
Right.
It has some kind of drawback.
America's addicted to sugar.
Well, think about this. Splenda, what they market and say, like, oh, it's made from sugar. Splenda was originally an insecticide made from sugar.
Yep.
So when you think about that, like, how good is that shit for you?
How did that get in some consumable product for a human? That's the fucking real question.
That's the fucking real question,
Because in all other forms of society, if we weren't so fucking sheeple-like and a bunch of fucking collective pussies, these people would have been shot at Town Square years ago. But they pussified everybody into this just accepting herd of people because they won't question their own fucking reality. And that's the problem with the world today. It's not just America. But we're a shining example of how things can go so sideways with just everything. The products we use, the food we eat, the conveniences we have.
Right.
The inflated self-importance, policing the world. That's why everybody hates America, you dumb fucks. You not get it?
Yeah. Well, dude, we police the world so we can find out where the resources are and then use our corporations to exploit them.
Right.
Is the honest truth.
And use our young men and women to go over there and fight for freedom and liberation
of their natural resources.
Why do you think we're still in Afghanistan, man? What, Obama or Bin Laden was killed in 2011, right?
Yeah.
7 years ago they found his ass and killed him in Pakistan. Do you know what natural resources exist in Afghanistan? What's one of the largest crops? I think
poppies. Poppies.
What do they use poppies for, Richie?
To make heroin, morphine, and all other derivatives of opiates.
Oh, wait, let's make an inference here. Let's look at this for a second. So, a big portion of the opium products are produced in this country.
Yes.
That's interesting. When did all the opiate pill-based addictions start to come to light with, just modern America?
Same period of time in which we were in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Interesting. And why is it 7 years later, are we still there?
Well, here becomes, just in the illegal trade of opium, from that side of the that side of the world. Okay. The opium fields in that side of the world produce $15 billion a year. $15 billion a year. And so any businessman in his right mind, you go, well, you want to leave $15 billion a year behind? Do you really want to leave $15 billion?
Because all of the pain meds are going to need opium bases.
Yeah.
Does anybody ever stop and ask, where do they source those for the pharmaceuticals?
Well, a lot of things
like
a lot of things like OxyContin, it's all synthetic, but that doesn't include morphine or Dilaudid. The actual, and a lot of that shit's getting sold in the street still. So we're just helping it make it to the street. We're just cutting off the head.
What appears when you cut off one head?
Two more take its place.
Right.
Two more take its place. But you got to think, if we have all this, opium, we're able to make saying for instance, we were able to make a giant profit off of it. Okay? And we didn't have to claim the profits. Non-taxable, we could use all that money for Black Ops projects, and no one knew where the money came from.
Yeah, because it appeared out of thin air.
It did.
Something to think about, folks at home. Don't believe the script that they try to sell you on the television or through anything. Do your own fucking research. Another thing that we didn't discuss about what's in Afghanistan is some of the rarest minerals on the planet are located in the mountains there. But they have never had a stable enough infrastructure and government to harvest them. That is originally why the Soviet Union went to war in Afghanistan in the early 80s. If you look into the history books, there's a large deposit of very, very rare earth minerals, to include uranium, diamonds, and a few others that are very, very hard to come by. And all along, you're dealing with one of the poorest countries in the planet and the most remote and climately unforgiving locations. And you have a hotbed for problems because there's a lot of interests from a lot of different countries all vying for the same piece of the pie.
So this will be continued. What I'm about to say will be continued on a different podcast. Okay. But we are going to talk about Gladio 1, Gladio 2. Basically the PSYOPs and State Department ops that took place after World War II. And we're going to talk about probably the future of Gladio 3. Because this all kind of ties in with the Afghanistan poppy fields. This all ties in with all the money and where it gets shared. This ties in with the craziness when it comes to conspiracy theories. And some of this shit, a lot of it is not conspiracy theory. It's real life, and it's scarier than the conspiracy theories that people come up with. Real deal. It's way scarier. We're talking about people We're talking about people jailed in like the highest security prisons in Switzerland, and then just like helicopter comes in from the UN and takes like the most, like literally, Interpol's #1 person on their wanted list, removes them from prison, like it's no fucking big deal.
Right.
Because he basically he works for, he works for the powers that be.
They call that the deep state, my friends.
Yeah.
Look into it.
Yeah. It's dark.
What's going on is much, much larger than what you're exposed to on the surface. So everybody go to bed tonight in your safe spaces, tucked in under your covers, in a home with your loved ones. But remember one thing. The veil of freedom is held up by many people who are bleeding under the surface.
Right.
Don't forget that. Not everybody's your enemy. Not every friend is your friend.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Some people want to watch you fail.
Yes, for their own sick entertainment.
And there's some people that you think that you don't even know. They want to see you succeed. Some people you don't even know want to watch you succeed. Real talk. It's a very hard lesson to learn in life.
It is going through life the hard way for sure. And on that somber note, my friends, we're going to close out tonight's podcast.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on air, what night works for you? I know I'm free
Wednesday.
tomorrow. Wednesday's bad for me. I got to work my other job. But Thursday's open.
Thursday works.
But Thursday works. We're gonna be doing several of these a week, shooting for 3, man. Thanks again for listening, everybody. We love you. Feel free to comment about anything because we're open books. Both of us aim to learn, and we really enjoy talking to people. It's why we're actually doing this. We decided as friends we've had entirely too many conversations that were like, damn, like it would be great if we had other people involved in this in one platform or another, whether it's a comment or you call in, which we're going to have set up very, very soon. But give us a listen, man. Give us a chance. We appreciate you taking the time out tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever drink you have left, I'd like you to go ahead and raise it. We're going to slam these puppies home, get into Tuesday, and kick some fucking ass the rest of the
Fuck yeah,
week,
man.
Because we all got to get to Labor Day weekend, go have our barbecues and our fun to celebrate the closeout of summer. With that said, everyone, cheers, and raise your glasses. Prost.
Cheers, motherfuckers.
That was fun.
Dude, I'm going to get Sibel Edwards on.
Hell yeah.
The fucking FBI agent I was talking about?
Yeah?
I'm going to get her on.